and welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging and Friends. We are playing Holler tonight. It's been a while, but we are back. Savage Worlds, Appalachia, Appalachian Apocalypse, and we are starting up a brand new act tonight as we are getting very, very close to the end. We're at Act 7. This is 10-act plot point campaign. We are going to have a special little interlude next month to lengthen the campaign, but we'll talk about that later. But yeah, we are back. It's been a little while. Last we left our heroes, Jeremy was trying to kill Melissa, and Joe ruined it by putting him into a straitjacket. So we've gotten a lot of people writing in who are very disappointed. So thanks a lot, Joe. All right. We are going to do things slightly out of order because normally we do character intros, etc. We're going to do slightly out of order because all of you should have just gotten it in advance. So we're going to do kind of a kill two birds with one stone. We're going to do like our character intros like normal, but we're also going to do like a little mini interlude to sort of bridge the gap between the end of last act and the start of this new act. And part of that is going to be you kind of describing something that's happened over the last couple of days, what advance you took, that kind of thing. But before we do that, I'm going to do the summary first so that everyone has got fresh in their mind what happened. And then we can we'll kind of go around and see what everyone kind of did since we ended the last one. So your last mission, Act 6, took you to the Cussfoot Fens, southeast corner of the Holler, and specifically to the Bondurant Asylum. Your goal, your job was kind of twofold. One was to fulfill an old promise by rescuing Harley Rice, who very first session when you guys got in that brawl and stump bumpers, he was the speakeasy operator and he was punished and imprisoned. And you also were trying to free a fellow by the name of Stormy Pickins, who is a former company man and demolitions expert who turned on the big boys after he saw the destruction that was caused by basically this like strip top mining and stuff like that. Along the way to the asylum, you had a run-in with a former Almarine resident. Almarine is a location that Cletus knew well as having been destroyed some months back. But the Almarine resident was named Irving Slayton, and it turns out that he was possessed by some sort of spirit or demon. And when his body wore down and died in a bear trap, the demon jumped into the body of Amian. Fortunately, Louisa saw the signs and was able to perform an exorcism. It was a crazy storm, a blight storm, in fact, when this exorcism was happening. If you recall, like the building was kind of falling apart in the seams. Then the creature popped out of Amian's body. It was like this weird, sort of demonic-looking giant moose, and you guys fought it. You defeated its corporeal form, etc. Later on, you made it to the Bondurant Asylum. You fought some pumpkin head guards, some devil dogs, and a host of orderlies. Got inside the asylum. There were a bunch of Holler residents you discovered that were messed up in different ways. They were either kind of babbling incoherently, or they were seemingly rabid, and some of them were locked in cages, including a guy named Hot and Collie, who Joe knew from the Fiddlers Convention. Louisa and Amian, you found Stormy. He was on the third floor of the asylum. And then he kind of led you guys to the basement where a fellow by the name of Dr. Galton, who is the head of this asylum, and some of his technomancers were performing surgery on a variety of other residents. And Harley Rice was one of those residents that was being surgeried. Similar to the zombified workers on Old Rag Mountain from a previous act, Galton was inserting some kind of shim into the brains of victims, and it was kind of causing them to become ghoulish and susceptible to sort of commands, basically. A fight ensued, as it usually does with you folk. But rather than be taken or defeated by you all, Dr. Galton set off that explosive device and just kind of blew up the whole lab, destroyed a bunch of equipment and files, killed himself in the process, and nearly took a few others with him. Afterwards, you all decided that you were going to free most of the victims from the asylum, and you led them across the Big Sandy River into the nearby village of Terrapin Corner. That's kind of where we basically ended. So we're going to say that in the interim, you were able to kind of get some rest and recuperate. You're able to Cletus with that kind of haint, like when he was hainted for a little bit and he was kind of overtaken by some great anger towards Louisa, that he has now settled down from. Your wounds have healed. Any sort of status effects you've been suffering from are probably fine. And eventually you headed back to the Hogback Hills to your Serpent Church hideout and to LMA. So what I would like you all to do is, as you go around and kind of introduce yourselves, just give us a little interlude. Tell us something your character has been doing for the past few days and tell us what advance you took. So we'll talk. Oh my God, that's not even the word. We'll start with Double D. So Double D, what have you been doing for the past week?
Muted.
You're muted.
Oh, I thought that was just what Chuck was doing. He was just going to do a thing.
Okay. Maybe
I was just going to do it all of you. You can't stop me. I mean, what are you going to? Anyway, after we got back, I got Cletus all right behind her, like slap him a bit and wake up, spit on him. He was all right. But then after I realized, Double D, that's me, Double D. I got the voice of goddamn angels. So, Cletus and I, we've been practicing out of the day. I'm all like, dee, and he's like, man, it's fantastic. We're doing great. I mean, yeah. So we're singing now, and that's what I did. I got increased my performance from nothing to a D6.
Okay, very nice. So you're actually singing, like that's what you were doing. Okay, around people? Did other people?
Oh yeah.
This? Okay.
Whether they want to or not.
Okay. Were you singing like spirituals or something? Because you guys have been hiding out a lot at the church.
No, I'm just singing about shit I see. Like, oh, there's a rock over there. It's got dirt on it. I kicked it once, but it hurt my toe.
So we've had observational comedy, and now we have observational musical theater. I like it. Okay, we're going to change goat enthusiast to performance artist or something.
I like it. Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic.
You just put down what my Zoom name is right there. It's what you got to do. Appalachian Freddie Mercury. Don't stop me now. Is that the right song?
That's right. You're having a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, we're having a great time.
Yeah.
How about a ball?
Okay. Next up, Doggint, what have you been doing for the past week since this travesty, this craziness of the Bondurant Asylum?
I'm actually going to kind of like hook on to Double D's story because Doggett has been pushing himself to come up with a brew that's strong enough that we can appreciate listening to Double D. And I gained PowerPoints.
Oh, that's fantastic. So do you have a name for the brew? It's very common for folks across the Holler to name shine. Like they name the different, moonshine, like Cherry Bounce, for instance, you all had drank from Amos Mulholland over on Cherry Mountain. Do you have a name for
Not this? A very original idea, but it's got to be Hair of the Doggint.
Hair of the Doggint. Okay.
What about you do it the other way and call it Dog of the Hair? Say
Dog of the Hair. Oh God. All right.
Even
Dog
better.
of the Hair. All right. We can do whatever. Hey, we can workshop it. It's fine. Okay. Do you have a so we're gonna. I guess I'm gonna expect by like the next session. Just give me a list of all the different moonshine brews you have, like all of them. Like you're an indie brewer. You're some sort of.
I'll have to work on that. I do have some horrible names for beer that I've made at home. I've come up with, but Dan's Fail Ale.
Dan's Fail. That's a good one. Okay. All right. Any others?
I got to try and remember because I've only done a couple of them, so I got to try and remember what the other one was.
Okay. Fair enough.
It was a pale ale, so it was Dan's Fail Ale.
That makes that made sense. Okay. All right. Well, we will eagerly await them. Next up, we have Double D's brother, one of his brothers. We have Cletus. Jeremy, tell us about Cletus.
Yeah, man, I'm Cletus. I'm Double D's big little brother. Appalachian Ninja by trade. I've probably been avoiding people a little bit since what happened. I've been doing real good keeping the demon inside for a long time. But after he done got let out, he just went into a wild frenzy. So I picked up the frenzy edge because that felt appropriate. It's useful for me, but also makes me a little bit worried about things. Now I wanted to go find Mama to talk to her, but can't really make that happen. So I figured the best thing I could do, he's not here at the moment, but I went and found Joe, character Joe. And because he's just built a little bit different than other people. And I just made it clear to him that I ain't looking to die or nothing. But I wouldn't talk to him, made a deal that if I ever go to attack Luisa like that, he's supposed to shoot me in the head.
Okay. All right. I will hold him to that too. And I will give him like a bonus die or something on his roll for that. That'd be great. So I was going to actually ask something. Frenzy. So what does Frenzy do for those who don't know what Frenzy does?
Basically, what Frenzy does is whenever I go to make a fighting attack, I roll an extra fight dice, and then I can choose 2 out of 3 and apply them to 1 or 2 different targets.
Perfect. Yeah. So that's terrifying. Okay. Very good. Very good. All right. Next up, Melissa. Louisa was the subject of Cletus's sudden attack. What has Louisa been doing for the past week since the time with Bondurant Asylum in the Cussfoot Fens? What have you been doing?
Fairly predictably for Louisa. I am, by the way, changing from what I said pre-stream. So I changed my mind like 3 times while other people were talking. So she is the holy roller, and that is where she, kind of her spirituality is where she kind of gets her strength. She's done some exorcisms of sorts recently. And so it's sort of been even kind of impressed upon her even more that it's important for her to kind of have a strong spirit. And so that's actually what I went with as I increased my spirit up to a D10. So she's just been, reflection and quiet contemplation and, all of those kinds of things as she does off by herself, kind of gets a break from all of the nonsense that comes her way. She's appreciative for all of the people that she travels with, but she does need some time of quiet, especially with singing being on the menu for this downtime. I think she has been out of earshot for a bit of this time.
So that's actually raises an interesting question for me. Like, where do all of you stay and live? So basically, you meet up with Ella May out in the Hogback Hills outside of Ashdown, which is sort of like the main city, right? And although like Stump Bumpers was originally like in the book supposed to be like the headquarters, essentially, we had an issue with Stump Bumpers, so we moved it to the hills, and like we're in a Serpent Church, but like that's where you meet up with her. But do you all like stay in Ashdown during your downtime? Do you go other places? Do you have another place you go out of curiosity?
I mean, it would probably not like I'll probably just sleep in the barn with Cletus. If Cletus going somewhere, I might follow Cletus a little bit.
I mean, if it ain't too far.
Sorry. I'm just at the stills.
Stills. Okay. Do you have stills like outside of Ashdown? Like outside of
I assume I've got them somewhere on dog land property, dog family property.
Okay. What were you gonna say, Cletus?
I mean, I'm feeling pretty crappy. I reckon if it's not too far a jaunt, my dog Yeetus is with Mama, and I like both them old guys, and I could use just a little bit of, recentering.
Okay. I mean, I would say it's probably perfectly reasonable to assume that maybe Mama is in Terrapin's Corner, because Terrapin's Corner is sort of like a retirement community, like, so to speak. It's where a lot of like storytellers and old folks go and kind of hang out and they sing songs, tell stories. It's like history lessons, things like that. Bullfrog, Amian's old friend. Yeah, go ahead.
Is Mama that one that didn't like me none?
No, Mama. It goes back to when we were playing some of the sessions before we started the Plot Point campaign. Is Ashley's character?
You remember that lady I told you I done accidentally buried alive twice?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's her. She's the one I'm supposed to beat us with.
Thought you were gonna go see that old lady, old mean shit. I was gonna go throw rocks at her again.
You guys stop throwing rocks at grandmammies.
Nah.
Well, the interesting thing, Double D, is that there is a fairly good chance that the woman that you're talking about is actually dead. As if you guys recall, you're talking about That was shortly after Weaver Falls. You guys were in the town of Gilmer, and you're talking about the the granny woman in Gilmer. You guys had killed one of the big boys, Royster Whitaker, and like this whole like you've heard news that like this huge sweep of like Kramer Holt agents and company guards came through and essentially just demolished Gilmer from the map. So there's there's a fairly decent chance that your nemesis has kind of gone away.
I mean, that's too bad. I was hoping I'd be the one to strangle life out of old Bat's eyes.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll see. She's a granny woman, so they're kind of weird. So she could be.
You might come back, put her back down again, throw her in the hole.
I'm appreciating the alternate Monday morality of Chuck's characters, because on our other Mondays, don't you dare hurt your children, because no good will ever come to you if Chuck's character has anything to say about it. And then there's Double D.
There is.
All right. And then finally, Amian. What has Amian been doing for the past week, Joe?
Yeah. Been probably bonding time with his new brothers. And the edge I picked up, or I was going to pick up an edge, but because I'm spread so thin across so many skills and all my attributes, it's kind of hard to pick them up. So I went with 2 more skill increases, and I upped my athletics and fighting to fit the family a little bit better. So I imagine I'm just run through the forest doing like a training regime and getting into trouble with them.
Sounds very good.
That type of thing.
Okay. You were saying ahead of time that like you couldn't get some edges because you don't meet the prereqs. Was that right? Did I hear that right?
Yeah. I have like almost every skill in the game, but it's not like a D4 or a D6. And then all of my stats are a D6 plus a D8.
You've got that. You've got those extra bennies and stuff that give you the bonus and stuff, right?
Yeah. At the cost of playing a young character who has reduced stats, but it's worked out.
Okay. So, and we'll let Bert next time kind of fill us in on what he's been doing. But we'll just for now say that Joe's kind of following one of you around, and that's that. All right. So, you all have been recuperating, resting. Maybe you stayed in Terrapin Corner for a little bit, a couple days. Made your way back to the Hogback Hills, winter separate rays, blew off some steam, did some training, did some reflection, meditation, whatever it might be. But eventually, word gets around in the usual way. Some kind of grimy looking kid comes chasing you down in the middle of whatever shack you're hiding in a gully or on a hill or something outside of Hogback. Or maybe one person gets a message directly from Ella herself or whatever it might be. But all of you eventually are kind of brought back one after the other to the Serpent Church hideout outside of Ashdown. And when you come in, for the first time in a while, actually, you see Ella May looks sort of excited. Like she actually she's moving around, like she's sort of smiling. She's energetic. And a lot of the times you've seen her before, she's kind of been giving you bad news or gloomy news, or in some cases, she sort of chastise you sometimes. But for the first time in a while, she looks excited. She's anxious, and she's like, "Oh, it's great. Oh, I'm so glad to see y'all. I got some great news. I'm so glad to see y'all. Cletus, why a long face? What's wrong with you? You're looking all sad."
Just avoids eye contact with Louisa and stays on the opposite side of the room.
Okay. Well, I got a new job for y'all, and I got some good news, and I don't want y'all bringing it down. I need you all. You're not the best. I'm staying positive. Have you all heard about what's been going down in Middenville? Any of y'all heard?
Yeah.
You have, Double D? Okay.
Nah.
Well, why don't you go ahead and tell us then?
Down there in Middenville, they got the things out there with the tongues, and they're coming at people. Well, we got them shotguns. They go bap bap, and they don't make it. So everything's looking peachy cake.
She's gonna look over at Cletus. I've got like peachy keen and tongues. That's all I got. Anyhow,
he don't really care what's going on. You just point him in a direction.
That's right. Why are you asking me? Like, just say go.
Okay, fair enough. So here's the big news. Bond Durant number 2, mine over by Middenville. the workers, you ready for this? They walked off their jobs. They left. They walked right on out. It's crazy. Now, they just didn't want to work there no more. Now, we've been working, myself, some of my other operatives, kind of trying to get some information to them, kind of letting them know about what all happened down in Marrow, at the Galloway mine, the collapse, all that sort of thing. And we've been trying to, kind of get in their ear, with some of these other mines, them safety guidelines that all, that the Galloways weren't paying attention to. Well, it's not like any of the other families are either. The Bondurants sure as hell ain't. Well, they walked right off. Now, they got booted from Middenville immediately. Okay, you got all them shift bosses, supervisors, and such said, y'all are out. If you ain't working, get on out of here. And so they got on out of there, and they set up a tent colony right on the edge of the Piney Dirge Plateau there, just north of the Sootstones there. And anyhow, one of our old friends, Justin Taylor and the Mighty Fists, well, some of the other folks, they're kind of heading out there, kind of trying to support as best they can, trying to get them riled up in such a way. Now, I don't know if y'all realize this. It's the first time we ever had anything close to a worker strike here in Holler. First time this has ever happened. So I don't know. I'm feeling something where I'm feeling all tingly. I'm feeling all, I don't know. I thought it was menopause at first, but now I just think it's hope. I just feel a little bit of hope here.
I think it's hope. I think it is. That's mighty courageous of them.
It is indeed. It is indeed. Now, obviously, there's not always good news. There's some bad news because not everybody's on board. Of course, the Bondurants, well, they just as quick as they got rid of the workers that got out, they went and started recruiting a bunch more. They got some folks from neighboring towns up in the mountains, etc. Anyone who needed food on their plates, needed some script to kind of get some supplies for the families and things. And well, now we got some nasty dust-ups that are starting to form between the workers that have walked off and, the new ones that starting to call them scabs and such. But nothing serious just yet. Mostly it's just name calling and whatnot. But anyhow, I'm very excited about this. I think this bears an opportunity, right? This is an opportunity because there's a couple dozen, almost 100 folks that are out there at that tent city. And for the first time that I can remember, to be honest, we got a chance here. We got a chance here to make a town, to make a village that's ours. That ain't the big boys. They're not the ones in charge of this place. This is going to be other folks. This is going to be folks settling a town without having to worry about company stores, without having to worry about supervisors looking over their shoulder, telling them what to do and what not to do. Why ain't y'all smiling?
Hey, blowback.
Well, yeah, there's gonna be some blowback. You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong, Double D. I always thought you were the smartest of the bunch. That's for sure. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong, and that's why I'm sending you all out there. Because I don't want people fighting each other. Those scabs, and I don't even like that term. They just doing what's right for their families. They need the food, they need the work, etc. They don't know no better. Okay, they don't know no better. But if we can convince them, if we can make sure that they are listening to all the different things, that the stories that are coming out of Marrow, the story that are coming out of these other mines, all the dangers and shit. Well, maybe we can convince them to walk off too. And at the very least, you can keep the peace. Now, I know this ain't your expertise, keeping the peace.
I was about to wonder why this particular group is one being asked to go do a talking job.
Well, the thing is I am a bit short-staffed because there are other things. I got a lot of fires going right now. Okay. And you all are here, and accessibility, and you're present, and I need to send somebody out there because you never know what kind of reprisals we're going to get. You damn well know them Bondurants don't like the fact that there's a whole mess load of their workers that are suddenly starting up a new town. They ain't going to like that one bit. And so maybe there's going to be a dust up or two, but I mean, the goal is to avoid them. You know what I'm saying?
And Luisa's going to kind of look around to everybody and just say, I feel like over the last job or two, we've probably had our fair share and fill of knocking heads together and whatnot.
Helping people avoiding their lives for the rest of them.
Nah. But I mean, we got to do what we got to do.
Well, here's the thing. We are spreading the word. I've got operatives from the Great Craggies over to the Cussfoot. I even got them on the edge of Fatefall. Now, I ain't going into Fatefall, but on the edge at the very least, they're spreading the word, right? They're spreading the word. And this city has the opportunity to grow. There's going to be dissidents and such from all over the Holler going to kind of work their way over there once the word gets out. So that's why I'm saying to y'all, I want to make sure you protect that place, protect them people, protect them from themselves, from each other, from the big boys, and any other problems that might be coming up. Got me?
Hey.
Okay. So head on up there. Y'all ever been to the Piney Dirge? Man, it's a curious place. It's a curious place. I would just say stay relatively close to the soot stones. You don't want to go too far out there. It kind of gets a little. There are some groups out there, little. Well, I don't want to call them, crazies, but they're a handful of crazy. Believe this, believe that, different sects of that and us. So anyhow, point is, you're on your best behavior, which I recognize. I'm grading on a curve. Okay, but protect folk is what I'm saying. Got it?
Got it.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all feel that tingle yet?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty regular.
I think he's feeling a different tingle.
Mm.
I'm
Please.
definitely feeling. You know what? Seeing you hopeful definitely makes me hopeful.
Okay. There. Thank you very much, Luis. Thank you very much. And Double D, that tingle might be heart disease, so you might want to eat a vegetable or two. I'm just saying. Okay.
I ate a vegetable. It was an accident. I didn't like it.
Fair enough. Ain't that many left. But anyhow, so get on up there, hustle, and one other thing, I heard back from a few folks that I've been sending around. Some of the roads, some of the paths, companies out there, something fierce. And they looking for you. You and some of my others, and this and that. So they poking around and looking at stuff. So be careful when you're traveling. All right. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
All right.
Man, careful is my maiden name.
Do you know what maiden name means, Cletus?
Yes.
Okay. Well, congratulations. Okay. So
Does that mean that's my maiden name now too?
Yeah, it sure is.
That means I'm Cletus Caution Cletus. C. And it's time for a revival. Let's get in there.
It's good.
All right. So a couple questions then. How do you all want to travel? So you can potentially try to once more acquire a jalopy if you will want to try to do that. You can go by foot. Not either way, it's not going to be that long traveled. Like the Holler, relatively small place. It's not like you can go from one side to the other in just a couple days. So it's not like you're going to be traveling for weeks or anything. So if you go by foot, you're looking at maybe a day and a half of travel. If you go by jalopy, you're looking at probably a few hours, but it's also you're going to be on roads and stuff at that point. So it's just kind of up to you.
I done vote for walking out there. I mean, it's like they looking for us. I mean, road's easy place to look. If we want foot, we go out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I doubt they're going to be walking, so probably won't get jumped as much.
That works.
Okay. Next question is what kind of general path you want to take. So I'll ping for you all on our map, kind of where you're going. So you're going Piney Dirge Plateau for the Hollers, the sort of northeast corner. And it is where you're headed. The tent city is kind of right on the border between the Piney Dirge Plateau and the Sootstone Mountains. So there's a couple different ways you can kind of go to get there. There isn't a dot for this place, but like it's kind of in that general area. So you could either try to kind of go up Big Sandy like you did when you're going up to Marrow, and you counted that weird moth in the sky. You could try to go across the Ghost Ridge Mountains and up Corncob Gap. It's another way to go as well. So you can kind of directly north and then just sort of follow the Wild Eddy River and the Corncob Gap. Those are kind of probably your two options. You have a preference?
What you think, dog? You're a nature boy here.
Woo! Sort of, but not really. Not like Douglas was.
Is the other river easier to cross? Because we know the Big Sandy was kind of a pain. Do we know if the one's better?
The Wild Eddy is not as big or as deep, but it is. It's called Wild Eddy for a reason because the current is quick, but it's not as deep or as treacherous as Big Sandy is.
Okay.
I'd vote for Wild Eddy.
I'll go with it.
I think so too.
All right.
That sounds good.
Okay, so we're gonna head up through the Ghost Ridge, get over to Corncob Gap, follow the Wild Eddy River up towards the edge of the Piney Dirge Plateau, and find the tent city from there. Okay, so we're gonna treat travel like a quick encounter, where we just sort of everyone's gonna roll a skill, and whether they succeed or not doesn't really matter. You just sort of narrate something you're doing along the travel. So we'll assume that you take a little time to get various sundries and supplies and such you might need, and then you probably head out. As Stephen and I have said before, you leave for a road trip in the morning. That just makes sense. So you leave in the morning. So who would like to do the first roll and just tell me what is it you're doing on the trip, and what skill are you going to roll?
Well, I think, you always got to be worried about snakes and stuff. So I think Cletus and we're going to be keeping an eye out for danger. Just looking, just noticing things. Notice, you want to say notice.
Notice sounds perfect. Yeah, go ahead and roll a notice test. As travel across Hogback, if you're on foot, you're avoiding any roads. Like there's no paved roads in the Holler, but there's dirt roads and stuff like that. You're avoiding those. You're keeping to the hills and to the vegetation. You're kind of passing by like homesteads and things, and maybe you get a wave or two from a person, but you certainly aren't running into company men out on these random hills. And so we'll say you're probably moving kind of west of Boss Cage up towards Claytown, and then kind of into the Ghost Ridge Mountains, kind of trying to cut through.
Full 4.
Okay. So we'll say that by the time, so most of the travel through Hogback is simple enough. Weather isn't great because it's Holler and there's never good weather, but you're not no blight fog, no blight storm, nothing like that. You're the various people that you've encountered kind of just give you a quick wave, nothing more than that. No one really kind of pries into what you're doing. But as you start moving up into the mountains, the Ghost Ridge Mountains, that's when things are starting to get a little bit more fraught, as fog kicks up. And it's not, you could tell pretty quickly that, at least initially on the ascent up towards those bottomless pools, where you can kind of pick up the river on the decline on the north side, it is quite foggy and kind of difficult to travel around. And although you're able to sort of find a couple mountain paths, being a goat enthusiast, you probably find a couple of those little kind of goat paths here and there. You do come across this rock, this sort of flat rock, southward facing. You almost like bump right into it, and you notice that there's a symbol carved into it. And the symbol this looks like a star. As you take a look at it, Double D's, you're kind of just kind of staring it down a bit, but it's sort of staring
like a 5-point star.
I think it's like 7. Let me double check. I think it's this.
Oh, great! Y'all don't see this. It's got some of the strange letters. It says, "Don't."
It is a 7-pointed star.
Any of us know if that means anything?
Well, someone else, since it's a quick encounter, can roll something next if they like.
Yeah, folklore.
Folklore would be folklore would be fine.
Okay.
Go ahead, Amian.
I'm gonna Benny that.
Okay.
Nice.
6.
Okay. You probably have never seen this symbol in the wild before, but you've probably heard stories, Amian. You've probably heard stories of what some folks call a quick ghost, other folks call a snallygaster. There's a lot of different things that it can be. You're not entirely sure. Some folks say it's like a half bird, half reptile. Some people say it's got like a metallic beak. Some people say it flies through the air. Some people say it kind of hides in the fog. Some people say it's a ghost, others a demon, others an animal. But there's no real certainty of it, partly because most folks who encounter it don't really live to tell the tale. But what you do know is that whenever anyone has kind of suspected they're in the area of one of these creatures, they put one of these marks up to kind of warn other travelers. At least that's what the stories tell you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely relay that to everyone. And then I'm going to be like trying specifically to train my ear for like flapping wing noises or something. That's like
Fair enough.
Oh, can we
footsteps.
look at this a little bit and see if this seems like something that might have been put up here like 5-10 years ago, or something that seems like it was put up just a week or two ago?
I mean, it's in stone. I would say no roll necessary for this. It doesn't look particularly worn down, so it doesn't look like it's been here for years. Whether it was, last week or 2 months ago, you probably can't distinguish, but it's certainly
More
not
recent.
very old.
All right. We should definitely keep an eye out then. I don't know that we want to be coming across this here.
So the next person
Sounds
can
like
roll.
bad news.
Someone else can roll a check here of some kind of skill checks, taking the lead. So Double D is kind of led you all here. Amian's figured out what the sign meant.
I
Doggett,
mean,
Cletus, Louisa.
do we want to push forward in the fog where it's hard to see? Do we want to climb up some, see if we get up above the fog, not be stumbling around so much?
I do not believe that myself and my skirts are good climb a tree type generally, but if that sounds like a great idea for somebody else to do.
Maybe one person could climb up and things out.
I can tie a rope to myself and climb up, take a look.
Well, I can keep my 2 feet on the ground and hold the other end of that rope if that would be of assistance.
Anything you do is the right thing to do, Miss Louisa.
Hold on that rope type that way in case he falls up in the air, you can keep him.
Is this one of those things where if he goes falling, I'm going to go flying upward? Is that
Almost
how
certainly.
that for a
He'll be the first astronaut.
Oh,
Woo!
God.
Oh,
Who
no.
would have thought?
I'll give it-
Cletus, athletics, I think we're going for.
Yeah, I'll
Okay,
give it a
go for
try.
it. Oh, boy.
Benny that.
All right. You rolled a 3. Okay. 4 is all you need. You're good. Okay, so you tie a rope around your waist and you just start climbing. Like I said, like Double D found a handful of these goat paths and such, but like you said, Cletus, like the fog has started to kind of weigh down to the point where if you're not within about 10 feet of each other, you really can't see each other. So you start kind of climbing up, and we'll say it's probably at this point middle of the day. You've been traveling for several hours just to get here, so it's middle of the day. There's still a little bit of light, but the Holler never has full sunlight as the otherness kind of cakes over everything. But you do manage to get above this fog, and you can kind of look around. And I'll tell you that you see that the fog extends pretty much as far as the eye can see. You do notice that there are a handful of peaks off to the north, these different kind of places where the Ghost Ridge Mountains kind of kick up. You do notice that kind of off to the south, you can probably even see all the way down to kind of like what looks like the edges of Claytown a bit. You can see some of the smoke kind of coming up from some of the chimneys, or maybe even varmint on the slope of Sootstones. But you can probably like kind of figure out just from the placement of these different peaks, like a decent way forward. But everyone else could also climb up, and you might even be able to just go up and over the peak you're on. It's not an easy climb, but you probably could do it.
Maybe we got some rope. We could probably do it.
I'm sorry. Did you say we were going up over that there peak? Is that the recommendation that you were making there, Cletus?
I mean, I ain't trying to like if you don't think it's gonna work for you, I'm gonna push you in no direction that don't work for you.
Well, of the things that I have not done yet in my life so far, that is certainly one of them. So I suppose good a time as any to get ourselves up and over the fog, and perhaps then we would not have this ghost coming around here if we have the vision.
I will say, Lisa, you say you worry about your skirts. So I got a spare pair of pants. I mean, you need some climbing clothes. I got you covered.
Oh, I can do some tying off and such things. It was more of the climbing a tree right overhead of y'all. That was not necessarily the thing that I was looking to do, but I think just generally climb up a mountain, I do think I can manage that. But thank you for the offer.
Hey.
And she is also sort of looking at your waistline and her waistline, and like last resort if needed.
Yeah.
But I think
All right,
carry on.
one leg.
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right, so we're climbing up. Okay, so everyone but Cletus, give me an athletics check. Everyone's going to pass. You're going to climb up. No worries. It's just a question of whether you take any fatigue in doing so. So just go roll. Everyone roll in athletics. This is outside the quick encounter. If you pass, you're good to go. If you fail, just take a point of fatigue. No big deal.
Said I'd pass.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness,
he
Abian.
passed.
Abian just ascends. He just hovers up through the clouds.
He's got that leg strength, man. His glutes are strong.
I think this
I'm
is very
training.
appropriate. Louisa failed.
Okay. Point
It's
of
not that
fatigue.
Amian goes up. He just wills the earth to go down.
We're doing wonderful things with gravity this session. Louisa, take a point of fatigue. You get up, but it is a struggle. Even with the rope, even with others helping you, whether it's the skirts or whether it's just your decision to not take vigor at the start like you were going to, you are very, very winded. Maybe it's the elevation as the air is a little thinner up here, whatever it might be.
That's what I was thinking. That like this, just that the breathing is just
Yeah.
a struggle as we go. Like her lungs are one of the things that are failing her in her age, and this is just not doing well.
And so you all get up to this ledge, and you can see that there is a path where you can kind of stay up on this peak and kind of just go up and over it. It's a little treacherous, it is a little treacherous, but you're all together. You got your ropes and kind of can keep an eye out for such. But I think we still need a quick encounter roll from Doggett and Louisa. So how are the two of you contributing here?
Trying to come up with any skill I have that's useful for this.
I was thinking the same.
Do anything you want. Be creative. It's all good.
No, the only thing I always keep leaning towards is doing some distilling for some Farsight, maybe. Since we're up on this cliff here.
There you go.
Absolutely. Give us that distillery roll. We might even say that this is something you've already done. Maybe you have it on you. We're just kind of rolling kind of retroactively. 5. That's a success. Okay. So we'll say that as part of your, once you kind of get up here and you can see you're above the fog at this point, the otherness is swirling, well above you, above the mountain peaks. But you're looking around and you start realizing that might be helpful, especially since it's getting a little darker as the afternoon progresses. You start handing out the Farsight brew, and all of you start, your eyes kind of do that kind of classic, the pixel, your pupils dilate a little bit, and you suddenly can see a little bit further. And I'll give you all a free notice test. Anyone who wants to roll a notice test, go ahead and roll a notice test.
I notice things.
All right.
Louisa notices nothing. Oh my gosh. It's another.
Not
We can
rolling
see
well
things
tonight.
better, but we can also be seen better.
I got 3.
Okay.
I didn't notice nothing.
Looks like Amian and Cletus did well. So I got Amian with a raise. I got Cletus with a pass. Okay, so I'll say between Amian and Cletus, both of you notice something on like so if you're looking at our map, we'll say we're on like that kind of eastern peak, east of the bottomless pools. Both of you, with your far sight, you're looking across this. There's a gulch on the other side of this peak that you're on, and you can see the river is sort of moving its way down the mountain, and that's the Wild Eddy. On the opposite side of that river, up another peak, the two of you noticed something's up there. Like there's like something looks really off. Like it's not just this sharp peak, but there's some sort of like ledge, and it almost looks like, for a second, it almost looks like something's been built there, and both of you are kind of peering at it. Amian, maybe you take a couple steps forward, or maybe it's just you're young and your eyesight is in great shape. You notice that it's a nest, and you see that something is moving around in it. And you see as these large, kind of leathery looking wings just sort of extend as if they're stretching. And then suddenly, whatever this thing is, launches itself up into the air and just starts doing this sort of patrol in the skies. So your far sight works, so you're not sure if it actually sees you. But Amian, you do notice this. And Cletus, once Amian points it out to you, you would be able to see it too.
Oh, wow.
I think that's that thing that had the star symbol and someone made earlier. How is there like any brush? Like how open is the?
It's very rocky up here. There's really like no vegetation at all. Like next to nothing up here. It's rocks and things. Like there's places where you could potentially hide, but not like vegetation wise. It would be like in a nook or a cranny or something like that.
Okay. I'll say that to everyone. I'm like, there's this thing, took off, it's flying around. I think it's the thing that we were warned about with that little star symbol earlier. It's pretty dangerous. I don't know if we want to wait
makes us say
and see if it lands.
It's not like a big bird?
Not like the one from the kids show, no.
I mean, it's the size of a big bird, but it's really far away, so it's bigger than that.
I mean, we ain't come over no reason. Let's go find that ghost chicken and just punch crap at it.
Man, but here's the thing. Sometimes they like to pick you up high and then just drop you. That's the way sometimes some of these kind of birds will do. And it's hard to punch something when you can't fly yourself.
I'm very susceptible to falling from heights.
I'm of a mind to just cover myself in whatever mud is in the area around me. And if I hear any flapping wings, my ass is going to be the same color as this here mountain. And I'm going to lay still.
And Louisa looks down at her clothes, and she is always in like grays and dark clothes anyway. And so she's like, I think I can just lay myself down and I'll probably fit right in.
Hey, I had a better solution. I'm going to go find a big long stick. I'm going to break it. I'm going to have Joe sharpen it down for me. Nice pointy. I'm going to put it down the back of my shirt so it's pointing straight up. Now I got double D spike. He tries to swoop in on me and get poked.
Man, you're like them fancy snacks where they put the stick in the snack.
That's right. And every time you bite that, it hurt. But it's just the goat chicken want to learn.
It's like a horse nerve or something.
But does it ever stop you from biting it, though?
What fancy places have you been eating at, you boys? I don't know.
I've done stolen some fancy snacks.
Well, would appear. Good gracious.
Mom always used to have
I did try to eat
she'd have us go steal the drive through a Taco Bell. That's where we get them.
So I can't exactly see what y'all are talking about. Am I just laying down on this rock right now, or are we waiting for it to get a little bit closer?
I mean, I think we just kind of move along, but keep an eye on it.
Yeah, we don't really know if it saw us or not, but I would kind of like to hide and see if it lands while we watch it, or see if it comes this way.
And Louisa just plops down. I'm like,
just kind of see how it plays out.
Okay, everyone, go ahead and roll a sneak test or stealth test here.
I'm real good at this one.
We do have some audience boosts, just to remind everybody if you wanted.
I have 4 complications too, just so you know.
Oh, great.
Did you say this was stealth that we're rolling? I am going to
Stealth.
take a boost.
Yeah.
Because my stealth is a D4 and I would like that to be a D6. So.
And we are changing the way we do our audience. Like we're doing as temporary die boosts, basically. So it'll take you from a D6 to a D8 or whatever for a single roll.
All right, that's a 5.
Okay, everyone passed.
Everyone
I
but
did not,
me.
not the least.
Do you?
I didn't either.
Oh, you didn't? Do you guys want to Benny that?
I already did.
Oh
Okay.
no.
I mean, at least you got the stick on you for when it comes to eat you first.
I got in the tree. The goddamn ghost chicken stick has got me.
Okay. Well, let me see how it does in terms of its notice test. When I roll again, that's never a good sign. Okay. So are you guys staying still, or are you just trying to stealthily continue your way?
I think we were laying still. I imagine
Okay.
I was plopped up on a
Trying to
ledge, so I can
find
still
some-
kind of look that direction at it.
Okay.
Trying to find some rocks to be in
Yeah,
between
yeah.
or something.
I'm stuck in a tree, a whole tree shaking.
So I would like
Shaking your
to,
fist in the air.
if this is okay, I would imagine that this has the potential to be a life and death situation.
Someone.
So I would like to spend Benny for Augur.
Mm.
So that we'll have 3 Augur tokens for some rerolls here
Okay.
in our dealings
Nice.
with this
I
situation.
know what you use for toilet.
I
All right.
won't
Different
even
vision.
pretend that I understood a word that you just said.
That's fair.
So you guys are all finding a hiding place on this peak of the mountain, and some of you find a better hiding place than others. Some of you, your ass cheeks are up in the air, kind of just very, very clear and apparent. Others kind of lose track of it. It's not very long before you kind of see this thing kind of circling around these long, kind of swooping flights where it just kind of glides, and you can see the wings go. It sort of disappears every now and then, kind of swoops down into the fog, comes up, swoops down into the fog. And then all of a sudden, as you guys are all kind of there, you think maybe it's gone. You hear the sudden sounds of these really kind of heavy wings, and bursting up out of the fog is this enormous creature. Mechanically, size 3. It is enormous. And it flies over top of you. And then just when you think it's kind of, you made it, you're fine, you're okay, it suddenly starts veering back, and it dives down at Doggint. As Doggint, I basically rolled randomly, and it came up with the people who failed. And so it swoops down, and it's going to attempt to do. Okay, so it's gonna this thing swoops down and just lands within a few feet of Doggint, and the whole earth just shakes. And you just see all sorts of gravel and debris and rocks kind of sliding all over the place. And as you're really close and next to it, Doggint, you can feel it's heat is kind of coming off of it. And yeah,
It's seen me.
it saw you, and it's going to basically try to wrench and kind of grapple you as it tries to swoop down and get you. So I'm just going to give this an opportunity since you unfortunately failed, and then we'll go into proper drawing of initiative. Okay, so it's going to be, oh my God, these are really big dice I have to roll. All right.
That's not what we want to hear.
Well, I'm not re-rolling, but I did. Okay, so that's going to
Jeff
be...
finally gets to pull out a D20.
That's a 9. What's your parry?
6.
Okay, so it does hit you, and it's effectively going to... Let me read this again, because there's this... It's got an ability. I want to make sure it's doing that. Actually, you should roll... You need to roll a contest, so you should roll a contest for this. So roll your attack. So basically roll your melee fisticuffs, because it's attempting to grapple you.
It's unarmed.
Yeah. Or Just roll your fighting dice, basically. Do you want to Benny that?
I feel like I'm going to need my bennies for other things for some reason, but let's go ahead and do it.
And well, I also have augur token, so I can spend an augur token for you to.
Oh, look at that.
As this thing reaches down with its claws, and it looks like it's just about to get you, like it's going to scoop you up out of the ground, Doggett, you just kind of swat away one of its claws. It kind of rears back at a second, surprised at like the sudden force of violence coming from you. And then it just, you see tufts of smoke kind of coming out of its mouth. And I'll go ahead and just put us into an initiative. We don't have to fight this. You guys are welcome to do whatever you want, but I'm just going to put us into actual order. So like you guys
That is true. We are known from running away from things. This is party full of sense.
Just one. When I say that, though, just remember.
I know.
Just remember.
Well, you warned us.
Just remember.
It's on us for ignoring it.
Okay. Cletus, you are first.
Oh god.
Lollygagging, you got a wrong name on that.
Man, I was kind of hoping somebody else to go before me because I had nothing but a dumb idea.
Dumb ideas are the best ideas. I will say that anybody who rolled 7 or under on your stealth does not get the drop, as it did roll a 7 on its notice. If any of you rolled above 7, you can get the drop on your first.
I think I just got a 7.
Okay,
that's fine though. All right, so I've had the rope tied off to myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've got this damn fool idea of just hopping straight up towards the thing and trying to wrap the rope around it. Basically, just jump on it, wrap the rope around it, and start trying to choke it with the rope.
It sounds like we're doing contested, like it's a grapple. It kind of sounds what it is, right?
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
It is size 3, so I do think you're penalized for that whenever you do grappling against a larger, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I probably better.
Are we size 1 or 2?
You guys are size 1. Yeah, I think. Wait.
Well, I'm size 1. You're size 0.
Yeah,
size 0 is default.
Oh.
Cletus is a little bit bigger, so it'd be. I think it's a minus
yeah. That's
2.
how big this thing is.
Would it be a minus 2, or is it scaled
Yeah.
differently? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'd be better off punching it, but that just seems like the thing to do.
Okay. So
so athletics
versus its, and then you'll have a minus 2 on yours.
I might take one of those bonuses. We could go up a dice size.
Yeah, you can go up a dice size.
Okay. Let me
We
see
have
if
6
I can
left after this spend.
figure out how to adjust that.
The benefit of rolling physical dice. Just grab a different one.
That's true.
Mhm.
Nah, screw it. I'll just roll it. I have my physical dice here. Ooh. So 2. I should have just punched it.
All right. So yeah, you run up, you try to wrap the rope around it, but it's sort of surprising how agile this thing is despite its size, as it quickly kind of slides out from under and you can't get the rope kind of fully around, and it kind of just whirls in this sort of contorted way as it looks like a giant lizard with wings is basically what this thing looks like, as it kind of curves and moves around and the rope just kind of falls down.
That ain't no bird. Hey, no bird.
And when it turns to face you, you see
it's a snake bird.
Coming out of its nose and coming out of its mouth, you see these little tufts of smoke just starting to rise up into the air. It's its turn, actually. So next up is the Snallygaster. Okay.
That's a great name.
All right. I'm gonna do multiple things. So I need everyone to go ahead and make well, actually, we'll see. Most of you are hiding. We'll say Cletus, Doggett, and then
I failed too.
You failed your okay. So we'll say Cletus, Doggett, and Double D, and then Amian, you had a stealth. You succeeded in your stealth, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Louisa, same.
Succeeded, but under 7.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to say that since the 2 of you passed, you're not going to be in the cone. Like, you found your own little hiding places, but Double D, Dog, and Cletus, you're going to be in the cone for this. As you see, bursting from its mouth and its nose, this just sort of funnel of smoke, like this heavy hot, dark smoke as it just bursts from its mouth. So Doggin, Cletus, and Double D, you need to roll to evade. Just roll. I think it's evade. So it's what's that called? That's an agility test, I think.
All right.
Agility.
Oh, 6 on a 6.
We roll
Another
athletics,
6 on
or
a
is
6.
Is
And
it
a 1.
actually a skill?
Just roll agility.
Agility. Your stat.
Yeah, your stat. Yeah.
Great.
13, is that what you said, Cletus?
13.
Okay.
I'll backflip out of the way. Can't catch me.
Doggin, 4, you're good. Cletus, 4 as well. Okay, so the three of you do manage to dodge out of the way of this like sudden expulsion of smoke, so you will not be blinded. It will still attempt to attack. Let's see who's going to go after. It's going to be Doggin again. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Sorry, man.
We just really want to meet the next member of the dog family.
I understand. Doggett has had too good of a run. It's time for him to end his career off the top of the mountain.
It's an 8. It's going to once more try to just grab you. So go ahead and roll your contest. So I rolled an 8.
Oh,
Hooray!
Oh.
I did it.
Oh, crit fail.
critical fail.
Fail. All right, so that's okay. So I should grab. So then, okay. Then I'm just gonna. It's a crit fail, so I'm gonna do it. Then it leaps up into the air, Doggint in hand, and you just see this thing whoosh, just suddenly start flying up. It's got Doggint wrapped in its claws as it's starting to fly away from you all. This has so I'll say Double D and Cletus, you're both in. You both could potentially take an attack. However, it has the extraction edge, which means one of you will not be able to take an attack of opportunity. I'm just going to roll it randomly between the two of you. Double D, you won't. So Cletus, if you want to make an attack of opportunity as it flies away, you certainly can. But it's now flying away with Doggett in its grasp.
I suppose I'll let this be the one attack I have frenzy on then.
For sure.
I'll hit it twice, one with a 9, one with a 19.
Oh,
Okay.
my.
9 may not.
No, both are good. 9's on a raise, though. Obviously, 19 would be a raise. So you got 2 hits, one of which the second one is the raise.
And I'm doing my best to punch it in its stupid face.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll do the first one without a raise. $11.
Okay. What's the second one?
And the second one will be 16.
Okay.
Oh,
that
boy.
will end up wounding it for 10, 14. Okay, so that'll give it. It's actually going to give it. It would give it 2 wounds. This is a wild card, so I'm going to attempt to soak with one of its bennies. So I will soak one of the wounds. So I will take 1 wound. I'll be shaken. Okay. So yeah,
Good on you,
wounded and
Cletus.
shaken.
Just hold on a piece of rope that didn't quite catch where I wanted. I'm just kicking it in the throat as best I can.
So you see it just kind of lift off, and as it does, Cletus, you like kind of grab onto it. You kind of cut through like the underbelly of it as this thing. You could see it just. It looked like it was about to burst away with Doggin, but instead it just sort of like its momentum takes it up a little bit, but it doesn't kind of take the full movement and sweeping away. It's still within like kind of decent range of most of you. Okay. The other thing I need everyone to do, I totally forgot to do this. Everyone needs to roll a fear test.
Oh, good.
At -2. I totally forgot to do this. So these have fear -2. So it's spirit. It's a spirit test at -2.
Just eliminate me from initiative completely here.
We got a 5.
That's a 6.
Got a 4.
I got a 3.
All right. Do you want to Benny that at all, Doggett?
I'll give you
Suppose so.
a.
The auger
Mm.
token?
Yeah, we'll kind of swap it out because you spent the Benny earlier, so I'll spend the auger this time.
Okay, and that's a reroll.
Yeah, so it's basically like a free Benny.
Nope.
Oh no.
Okay. It makes sense, I would
Oh.
imagine, since you are the one in its grasp.
Yeah.
So that would make sense.
I tried to warn you about how scary it was, but you're the one getting the up close and personal view of it. So there's really just
Yeah.
no.
Hey, everybody, look at that big bird over there.
I was not prepped enough for this.
Okay, so you're shaken. It's basically all it is. You're shaken. That's your effect. Okay. All right. Double D, you are up. This thing has moved slightly, but I'm going to say it's still within like kind of a leaping range, as it hasn't fully kind of taken its movement as it got kind of shaken as it was trying to leap. So you're still potentially able to do something.
All right. So see the leaping ring. I mean, what other thing I'm gonna do? I'm gonna run. I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna try and snatch Doggett of his claws.
Beautiful. Athletics test, I think. It sounds
All right.
sounds like that. And I'll just say it's shaken, so I'm not going to make it contested. So yeah, just say athletics.
All right. All right. I got you. I'm gonna Benny that.
All right.
That's saddened.
You managed to leap up as this thing is. You can tell it's sort of struggling. It was leaping off, and then it kind of got a little bit. It got damaged by Cletus in the underbelly. It looks a little out of sorts as it's sort of stumbling around a little bit. It's not quite. Doesn't quite have. It's not clear in how it's kind of trying to fly away. And you take advantage of that as you leap up and just kind of grab Doggett and drag him back down as this thing is still kind of coasting a little up, like it's a bird that looks a little bit out of sorts, you know, like it kind of just ran into a window and it's now trying to fly away. Amian, this thing is still hovering above you. It's still within relative range of you. You can see that Doggett has been pulled down to earth by Double D. Cletus has raked it across its underbelly. What would you like to do?
I'm going to try and hit it with the gun I've got. Peasant Pumper.
All right. Sure. Go for it.
That's the shooting.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh no, critical failure.
All right. You guys have a lot of guns, so I feel okay doing this. The gun explodes in your hands, and that peasant pumper just erupts. It bursts, and you're going to go ahead and take 5 points of damage as it bursts in your hands. It can be repaired. I'll say if Joe, like Mr. Fix-It, takes some time, he could potentially repair it. But until he does take that time, it is no longer functional, and you take those 5 points if it bypassed your toughness. And we'll say that's the critical fail state for that.
If it meets I have 5 toughness. Does that?
You're shaken from it. That's all. You're just shaken.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So then that's Amian's turn. Louisa, you hear this explosion go off next to you. You look over, and Amian in a little cloud of smoke and dust. His hands are kind of bleeding, and he just looks like he just got hit in the head, and he's got like a concussion as his face is just sort of kind of out of whack. Double D has landed on the ground. He's got like Doggett in his arms. Cletus, you can see he's got blood kind of in his hands where he managed to scrape the bottom side of this creature. Creature also looks a little kind of shocked and a little uncertain. What do you want to do, Louisa?
So nobody necessarily needs healing right this turn.
I mean, the Snallygaster took a wound if you want to go ahead and help that one out.
No. I think Louisa is going to. All right. So the next up is going to be Cletus.
Well, the next step is going to be Doggett, actually. He still has to go in this round. That's how much confidence she has in Dan. Did you hear that, Dan? Oh my god!
I don't even feel offended by it. It's the same thing.
Sorry. I was like, sure, I could, but
Don't forget we redeal cards at the top, so you don't know who's going to be at the top of the next round.
oh crap, that's right. All right, Doggin, what are you going to attack this thing with?
I mean, either I'm gonna go nuts with my Tommy gun, or I was gonna just try and put it to sleep. So,
All right, I will try to smite your gun.
all right.
All right, so that's a da-da-da. Oh, yep, that is just a regular success. So that means that you get a +2 to damage with Tommy gun.
Okay. And Doggin, it is your turn. You have been wrenched free from the grasp of this shaken Snallygaster. What do you want to do?
I'm hoping to maybe scare it a little more and just shoot at it.
Okay. So you're good with shaken. So you're no longer shaken. You passed your spirit test. So if you've got your Tommy, yeah, go ahead, take your shots.
I go ahead and take all 3 shots.
Sounds good.
Shooting. Some
Good on the
more
first.
shooting.
Good on the second.
And some more shooting.
And missed on the third. So the first 2 shots hit. Third one missed.
All right.
Go for it. Roll your damage. Oh dear.
Mm.
Oh dear.
Ooh.
Okay.
And then that's +2, right?
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
that's
I didn't-
19.
It is
Yep.
+2. All right. I'm
Yep,
gonna
yep,
have
yep.
to. I'm gonna soak. I'm gonna attempt to soak. Right. So I'm gonna use its second Benny to try to soak that. All right. That's on an 11. So that's gonna soak. So I'm gonna soak 2. So it was 19.
Mhm.
All right. So it's gonna end up taking 1 wound. So you would have done. You would have killed it if I didn't soak, but it's still going to end up taking 1. Okay, go ahead and roll for your damage for the second shot.
Oh, I might Benny that one.
Okay, yeah, that will not break its toughness with a 6.
Yeah.
11
Nothing's not
will in
bad.
fact break its toughness. I will use its third and final Benny to try to keep this thing
No.
alive. And I actually just exploded on my 10. Okay.
No.
That's a 12. So yeah, I
Dang.
soak it. However, it's still very wounded. It's still very wounded.
Yay.
Next round. And it is out of its own. All right, Amian, you're up first. This thing just took a couple rounds from Doggint. You can see that it managed to pierce through some of the scales you think they are on its side. It's now
Mhm.
very clearly bleeding. What would you like to do, Amian? You are
I
shaken.
am shaken.
You unshaked, actually. It automatic.
Okay,
Yeah,
there we
you're
go.
good.
I see that it got wounded. I don't want it to run away. I'm going to taunt it.
Okay.
Oh, you're taunting it.
Wow.
Just
Man,
yell out, "Hey there, creepy chicken! I got you 11 herbs and spices right here."
This thing has an animal intelligence. I am not like. How are you trying to taunt it?
I'm just trying to look tasty to it.
What does that even mean?
You're doing like Kay from the end of Men in Black.
Pouring
Someone
salt
pulls
on
his
your
shirt
head or
off, puts
something?
some butter on him.
Puts
Look
an
at
apple in his
supple.
mouth.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so savory. I'm dirty and savory at the same time.
Well seasoned.
Go ahead and do the roll. I mean, it's like it's gonna possibly give it distracted or something like that. It's not necessarily gonna mean it's automatically going to attack you, though.
I just
It's
mainly
just-
don't want it to run away is what my main thing I'm going for.
Okay.
I'm worried that like we hurt it enough that it's going to retreat,
Okay,
and I don't want it to do that.
fair enough. It probably will run away if it gets a chance to. I will say. Okay.
8.
All right. It's going to be distracted, and since that's a raise, I think it's distracted and vulnerable. As So yeah, it's distracted, vulnerable, and shaken right now. It's floating. But it's not dead yet.
Double D, you got this.
Go ahead and put distracted and vulnerable on it. Okay, Double D, you're up.
Hit punch range.
I will say that because you jumped up and you grabbed Doggins. Do you have a weapon?
Oh,
do you have like
weapon
a
that
club
reaches longer than my hands? No.
Exactly. No, you don't. Okay.
Can you
I'll say,
grab one of ours that we're not using?
You think I know I use one of them fancy bam bam?
I'll say
last time I did shot my titty off. I didn't want to do it again.
I mean, you're basically doing like, it's not Hadouken. What is it? What is the upper?
Hadouken.
Hadouken. Yeah. I'll say
sure you can.
-2, which you can.
Sure you
roll
can.
Attack. You can reroll the attack.
Sure you can. I'm gonna do that and run up. I'm gonna
Double D stands for double jump.
double jump. Bap, bap. We got one of them the audience boosts.
We do.
I'm gonna take one and turn my D12 into a D12 plus 1.
Oh,
Okay. Redneck
Right.
Ryu. Damn right.
That's it. Here we go.
All right.
I won't be any of that. It's not bad. It could be
Okay.
better.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, it got a lot worse.
Okay. What's the total to hit?
What did you say my minus was?
-2 to hit.
Okay.
and then you got a +1 from your D12 +1.
1. Not natural 1. Not critical fail.
Wait, I thought you said it was good, but it could be better. Wait, what?
That was before.
What was
It
your
got
first-
worse. It got real bad.
Oh, the second one you crit failed?
I did not crit fail. No,
Oh,
I rolled
okay.
a 2
Well, the first
and
one
I
still
rolled a
counts.
1.
The first one still counts. I think you still, I think you can take the better. I don't.
We
unless
usually
it's a
go with the
critical
better.
fail. You take the better. So what was the first roll?
2.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you're gonna miss.
What?
You're gonna.
It's your
How-
dice
you-
rolling right now.
Wait a second. You rolled a 2, and then you said it's not bad, but it could be better.
Because you got a +2
Uh-huh.
at the, you got a +3 at the end.
What?
Because you got a +2 from your edges, a +1
I rolled
from
3.
the boost.
Okay.
I didn't count
A
that. So
6.
3, that would have been a 5.
Okay.
And a +1 would have been a 6. Minus 2, that would have been a 4.
All right. A 4 is
For
not good.
melee.
Even a 6 wouldn't have been good too. So a 6 would have been good. 4 wouldn't have been good. Either way, you miss. But you didn't critical fail, so you don't fall down the mountain and die.
I just do a real pretty pirouette.
All right. It's gonna go next. It will unshake, and I realized that, Amian, you had an idea of what you wanted to have happen, but I don't see any earthly reason why this thing, which just got lit up with a gun in very loud explosions,
That's fair.
is now near death, is going to stay near you guys. So it's going to use all of its movement, which is a significant amount, I'm going to use its whole turn to fly the F away from you all. And something like, I'm going to say it's, what is it? Like double, it's a double, what's it called? It's
Full
not
pace.
Double jump.
it's-
Beep, beep.
Man, we haven't played in a
Double
while.
dash. Mario
So
Kart.
it's going to fly something like 30 pace from you guys as it is fleeing. As you have put several bullets in its side, Doggins. You have cut its belly open, Cletus. You have made it question its life choices as it's flying away. Does anyone
I
have
totally
any
forgot. I could have given an auger to Double D.
That's fine. I was just thinking too. I should have just tried to sing at it and seduce it.
If anyone has any like weapons with significant range, if you wanted to still shoot at it, you could. But I would say it's only like what's the range in your dead man there, Doggin?
48 is max range.
So if you still have bullets in there, if you wanted to, you could take a shot at it. It's well away from you. If you kill it, it's probably just going to plummet to the earth and smash it on the ground.
Can I
but
grab a
you could,
gun off Bert?
let's see. Yeah, he's probably got
Or weapons rack.
Yeah.
let's see. He's got almost one of everything, it seems.
Yes.
Let me check to see if he's got any of the ones with decent range. But Doggin, if you have bullets and you want to take a shot at it as it flies away, or if
Even a
anybody
peasant
else,
pumper goes up to 48.
peasant pumper, he does not have a peasant pumper. Hideout pistol only goes up to 12. Seed sower. So you could take the seed sower from him, maybe, if you want to take a shot.
Okay.
That goes up to 48. So it's at
We'll do
30. So you're firing at it from its from the sort of third range increment.
This might not be worth it, but I'm going.
What do I subtract for that then?
I think it's -2.
9.
Are you gonna go first, Joe?
You can roll first.
Okay.
You said it first. Yeah.
Since I got a 5, I get to use my calculating skill. So I'm going to do a multi-action. Hopefully, I don't have to take the second action.
Okay,
Don't come swooping at me, bird.
go for it.
We'll see if I get him.
Gotcha.
It's a -2, right?
minus. I think it's -2 for yours.
Okay. What happens?
I'll use an auger for that. I will help you aim
Okay.
a bit, so you can re-roll that.
Okay.
Oh, worse.
She's an
All
old
right,
woman.
I still got.
Why are you listening to me?
You're shooting a cloud. Why are you
It's on
shooting
the
the cloud?
left.
It's a cloud.
God dang it. Louisa, put your glasses on first.
This is gonna be tough if none of my dice explode at all.
Okay. It is a ways away. Okay.
Jeez.
You're
many fives?
unloading, you're firing, and like they're all missing. Louisa pushes you
You got-
down, and the third one misses.
I still have 3 more shots to take.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I did multi-action.
Oh yeah, that's right. Go ahead, Doug.
I can do it for free, basically,
Okay. Keep
as long
going.
as my initiative is 5 or lower.
Well, you'll get an
Keep going.
explosion at some point,
Eventually,
Got it.
I mean,
Maybe.
probably
Got it.
not. It is me rolling.
Or
after all.
you'll
or a
roll
critical
0.
fail, and we.
That's
we blow
the
up
more
gun.
likely thing, actually.
So
Oh,
for the
man.
last one,
Oh,
before
for
you roll the
5.
last one, if you want to take an audience, you can at least then be rolling a slightly higher die size.
Yeah, let's do.
Less likely
Like
to
an audience
explode,
one.
though. You know, what I mean,
Yeah, let's just
I
keep.
mean, he had 5 other tries to at least succeed. So
oh, I see a 6 explode.
Yay!
For a 6. So that will succeed. It's just a regular success, but it is a success. All
right, now we gotta see if the damage is enough.
now this
Yeah.
is still a +2
Ah.
because you're
Oh.
using the tummy
21.
21.
Doggint, you know what?
Suck
damn
it, bird.
Describe your
Suck it,
kill,
bird.
man. You deserve it. Describe
Obviously, I'm just
your kill. Suppressing fire.
probably just an accident. I'm sure.
You're just wildly firing in the distance, and so many of the bullets miss. You just used a crap load of your ammunition, but the
I did.
final shot comes through and just kind of wrenches it sort of right through the neck, and you just see this big splurt. You all hear this, and you just watch as it just starts veering down and just plummets all the way across. Like you could just see it start gliding across the river that's kind of in between these two peaks, and just smashing through the fog covering, and then you hear in the distance like this thunderous explosion as it lands on the ground, like boom, as you have in fact killed the Snallygaster. Well done.
Hooray!
I'm
I've done
imagining that
something useful for the community.
Amian's like rifling through Joe stuff, and like pulls out the gun and is like,
Yeah.
like,
Pretty much.
just in time to see Dog and all the things.
Yeah.
So, taking stock,
Gotta
I think
have
you're
it.
all in decent shape. I don't think anyone really took too much. I almost killed Doggett. I was so close. That damn
Look close.
that damn shaken that attack. Okay,
Man.
so you guys are up on
somebody
this.
ruin your fun like that.
It's fine. It's fine.
Well,
I
you
stopped
done
having
decided
fun
in
years
chat
ago.
that Dan's next character
Is
is
it-
going to be named Snoop.
Did we see where it landed? I kind of want to take a
Yeah, you
a
have
detour and go.
a vague idea of where it landed. It would be a detour, so it would take a little extra time to kind of go down and kind of cross over.
I'm fine
But you
with
could
that.
do it. You could do it. Okay.
I think that'd be a pretty cool corpse for us to loot.
Okay.
Did a cool thing.
We'll say I won't make you. You have the ropes. You kind of know which way. You don't worry about trying to locate it. You you all were watching. So you venture back down. You get into the fog once more. It's not blight fog, thankfully. You get over to the sort of the other side.
Actually,
yeah, go ahead.
I have one question.
Yeah, man.
On our way there, do we pass by its nest?
No, because like think of it like if you look
way
at
on
the
the
map,
other side, isn't it?
like you guys were fighting on this southern peak. Its nest is on the northern peak, and then there's the river in between, and it kind of like crashed into the into the slope. And when you guys do eventually find it, it's on the sort of northwest side of the river. You can see it's maybe 50 yards up the slope of the mountain. It is partially burst open from the force of like slamming into the side of the mountain, but you do see it. It's quite big. Obviously, it's hard to miss once you're within sight. What are you guys looking to do to it?
Eat. Eat 1, 2. Feather boa.
Maybe there's something cool we can take off of it.
Yeah, I want to harvest like scales, teeth,
Okay.
anything like that.
Okay. Let's do one roll for survival to see who's going to harvest it. So one person can lead it, and then like we can say anybody else who wants to assist can support and just give +1 per
I've only
person.
got a D4.
I don't even
I'd be
have
willing to
survival.
assist, but I'm just pulling feathers and trying to hack off a chicken leg. I don't know if I'm being very nice about it either.
Okay.
Does anyone else have
Who wants to help
survival?
Amian?
Nope.
I've got a D4.
All right.
That's what
plus
I
one,
want to.
Yeah.
+1 from Louisa.
We maybe let Amian do it because then he can Benny.
Do
Oh
we have
no, I
another
was not intending
audience
on
boost?
taking this over.
Do we have another
we should
audience
have
boost?
more. We should have more. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We are down to 3.
I can
Okay.
certainly
I
help
want
you
to take
out.
one on this.
Okay.
Oh my God, audience. What are you doing letting us get that low?
We've
Right.
made it all the way down from like 31 2 sessions ago.
I don't think they like us anymore.
I know. All right. 7
That's
to
a
pass.
5 and well, so that's a sum, so it shouldn't be a sum. That's a
No, it's
So-
a 5. 5 still a pass.
that'd be a 6. I kind of want to Benny it and see if I can do better.
Okay.
Oh wait, no. Subtract the Benny. There we go. Let's do that again.
Things just flying all over the place.
I know what's
Right?
happening right now on the screen. Okay.
Yeah,
Looks like you just got a 6. So we'll say you will harvest. So it's just a regular pass. We'll say you get intact. We'll say you
Don't
get
you get
4.
a +2 on your rerolls with bennies?
That's
Oh
okay.
yeah, it should have been
Yeah.
a +2.
And did you
So
get
did you
get to an
strips
8?
from us helping as well?
It's a
I still think it's a
5,
6 though,
6.
isn't it?
it's
4
it's
plus
either
2?
a 7 or a 6.
Yeah, I went 7.
It's a 7. Okay. We'll say you get 4 intact teeth, and they're big. They're not small at all. So 4 intact teeth. They're the size of daggers, basically. And then in terms of scales, like quality-looking scales, you're looking for. We'll say you get like maybe 10 to maybe about 10 pounds worth of just like solid intact scales. So
Sweet.
what we could probably do like at some point when you're like in a downtime between acts or something like that, if you wanted to try to like craft something with them or whatever, we could
Absolutely.
use the teeth on a bat or something like that, got spikes, something like that, or make an some sort of scaled armor or shirt or something. We could probably figure out.
Or
something
we're
like
going to
that.
put the teeth into alcohol.
I mean, all right, Jeff. Hey, it's a question.
Yeah, man.
You keep saying scales. What about feathers?
Feathers. Are there feathers?
I want feathers.
You know what? There is like you can tell like around sort of the neck. There's just sort of like this. You can tell it's like there's this kind of colorful ring around the back of the neck. And I will tell you that you're able to kind of pluck from it a couple of very colorful. Some might call them feathers, but they're more scaly than they are feathers. But they're very colorful and they almost look like feathers.
I mean, that's pretty and all, but like I'm thinking about like I learned how to sing. Next up is dance. I need a dance accessory, so like a fan or a boa.
Oh, this would totally work for that. It's very leathery. It's very leathery. Yeah, for sure.
I like it.
Okay.
YMC double D. Da.
All right. So after you have done your best to carve through this creature, you start following the Wild Eddy River. It becomes much flatter ground. You're kind of in the Corncob Gap. I think we still actually are owed a quick encounter roll for Louisa. As Louisa, you want to lead us the way from the river to this tent city. Do you want to do one little roll here and tell us what happens in this last stretch?
So I would like to not do anything that's actually useful to movement, but
it doesn't have to be. It's just something that happens.
Double D was just talking about performance, and I actually have a D6 in performance. So
samesies.
Try.
Oh God, do we get a duet?
We're gonna do it.
It's a duet.
All by myself.
Louisa, take a +1 in your roll from the dulcet tones of Double D. That's what the D stands for, dulcet. Oh,
it is.
I feel like I am focusing on sort of the physical movement piece. So I'm
interpretive dance.
kind of showing, because like being a skirt wearer, you can kind of like shuffle the skirts and, you know, kind of do some things with that. So I'm kind of showing you how to like move your feet and get some body movements to go along with the new
goddamn
feathers.
badass. Hey, damn it, Cletus, when we go to town, I gotta give you a skirt. We go whoop, whoop, just swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Won't pockets though.
a skirt with pockets.
I mean, whatever makes you happy, Double D. I didn't see that coming. I'll tell you that.
And I rolled a 10.
It's probably shocking to all just how like the movement of Louisa, who tends to move a little slow. She has a walking stick, but boy, can she dance. It's actually quite impressive.
Never doubted it. Miss Louisa, you goddamn miracle every goddamn way of the day.
And if anyone ever tries to sell you a skirt that doesn't have pockets in it, it is just not worth it. It has got to have pockets in it. I think we can make this work. And if you were even on flat ground and not on this mountain, I think you would be doing even better.
I feel so happy.
Well, on your way.
Let's go.
All right. So the rest of the travel is actually very simple, no danger, and very enjoyable as Louise is dancing, Double D singing, the various treasures that you're able to loot from the Snallygaster. And so the rest of the route is great. And eventually, you all, as you kind of crest onto the Piney Dirge Plateau, and you're traveling for maybe an hour or two, you see right in the shadows of the Sootstone Mountains, right where the Piney Dirge Plateau would start, and you can see far off into this distance. The vista is insane. You see a ramshackle tent city, and it is humming with life. You see the excitement, people moving about. You can start venturing in. You can hear the sounds of people talking, shouting. You can hear the sounds of music being played. There's more than one instrument that has been brought out here and there. And yeah, you basically see there's got to be at least 200 tents or small makeshift shelters, or at the very least, just these dugout sleeping spots where people have been kind of set up their own little camp here and there. Off to the northwest, you can see kind of rising above the sort of the effectively purely flat ground of the plateau. There's the Stygian Mountains. Sootstones are right below you. You smell cooking. You can smell venison and pork, possum kind of wafting through the air. Jigs are being played. You can see that there's just kind of getting the vibe. There's high spirits, but there's also, you kind of very vaguely kind of overhear some anxious talk as well as you arrive. You can see that also there seems to be a fairly large crowd that seems to have gathered around what looks to be this rickety kind of soapbox stage. And you can see every now and then someone kind of pops up on top of it and starts kind of going through you're probably too far at the moment to hear what they're saying, but you can see they're kind of gesticulating wildly with their hands, and you hear the crowd kind of chant, and some people kind of scream out, "Amen, amen!" And quite jubilant. Others kind of shout them down. There's some sort of argument that seems to be forming. But you have arrived at the tent city. What you guys like to do?
A couple questions.
Yes, sir.
All right. I mean, so apologies. I got distracted by the stage. But I mean, the more question is, this is the tent city of the scabs, right?
Tent City are the people who left the Middenville mine.
Oh, okay.
Bondurant number 2.
Oh,
they left and they established this here. The scabs are still back at Middenville.
They're back there. This is the people left. All right. I'm glad. All right. Just want to make sure I understood.
And did we perhaps forgot a question? Did we get a name of a particular contact from LMA when we were talking to her? Or should we have gotten a name?
You did hear that Justin Taylor of the Mighty Fist was involved somehow. She didn't specifically say for you to seek him out, but she did mention his name, and you all have met him. He helped you with the mine situation. The mine collapsed back when you were in Marrow, but his name was brought up. Otherwise, you were just kind of sent here to help help make sure this place is protected or defended, or that kind of people stay focused, whatever it might be.
Probably go to him because we already know him, and then see if we can track him down. And then I want to ask him about if there's anyone in town that would be able to craft this stuff I've got.
Okay. I'm going to probably say no to that, as this is very makeshift town, just started. You're probably going to want somebody that's a little bit more established. So I'm sure back in Ashdown. Or Joe, if you want to like dedicate some time to it. Okay, so you want to look around for Justin. So Amian, you're kind of peeking around for Justin. What else is everyone doing? It's just a big crowd. There's song, there's conversation, there's some sort of argument happening. There's tense food, everything. What do you guys do when you arrive?
You done said words that. So initially I was going to run like a happy goddamn child to the stage, but then you said there's an argument happening. I remember we were here for a job. I don't want to take the lead on an argument, but I want to be there just in case. So I'm going to point Cletus and Doggett and Louisa. I'll be like, they don't fight like mom and dad on a Sunday morning. We maybe should listen a little bit.
We are here to try to keep the peace. So I imagine people that are in conflict would be a good place for us to focus our attention.
Okay, so Louisa and Double D, you're going over to where that kind of argument and that soapbox is kind of happening. Cletus, you're going too?
You want me to? I will. I'll say I might go with Lil Cletus. He's got a good idea for seeking out the man we know here.
Okay, so
I can handle that.
Okay, Cletus and Amian are going looking for Justin Taylor. Double D and Louisa are going to see what this argument's about. Doggett, what are you doing, man?
I don't know. Both sound like pretty good ideas, that I'm pretty useless at both ideas.
Find the nearest conversation and be like, "Hi, I'm Doggett.
Have some liquor."
Hey, I would probably go over well.
I want to flip the party 3 ways though, so I'll roll a d6 here.
Okay.
It is with Cletus and Amian.
Okay, so the three of you are heading off, and Double D and Louisa are going to go kind of see if you can kind of get a feel for what's happening with this argument. I'll say, Amian, was your idea. Why don't you roll maybe a persuade test or something like that? And you could take +2 since Doggett and Cletus are helping you, as you're just trying to ask around, see if you can kind of get pointed in the direction of Justin Taylor.
Okay. I have a d6 on that.
We'll just see how fast this is for you.
6.
Okay. So yeah, you ask around if anyone's, if anyone's seen Justin, and you are pointed to a tent on kind of the north side of the of this like tent city, and you can see out in front of that tent, kind of sitting around on what looks like these either on the ground or on some sort of makeshift stools and things around what looks like a cooking fire. It's late in the day, like it's like almost dinner time basically. You can see there's old Justin Taylor as he is sitting right there with some of the other members of the Mighty Fist that you all met when you were in Marrow. And remember that Justin Taylor, very young guy in his 20s, hard worker, and everyone kind of seems to like him. And when he sees the three of you approaching, he kind of looks up. Well, ain't you all a sight for sore eyes? How y'all doing? Cletus, Amian, Doggett? Oh, well, what
Pretty
are you all
good.
doing over here?
I mean, we're
Well-
looking for you here. I can only assume what's going on here is some of your bravado pushing people to the right way.
Well, I ain't here to take credit for everything. These fine folk, they took a stand, is what they did. I just, gave them a little bit of a nudge is all. I just opened their eyes to some of the very severe truths of the way in which the big boys seem to treat the workers around the holler. And, you approach folks with reason and decency, open heart and honesty. They'll do the right thing after a time. Courageous folk around these parts here. Courageous. And he kind of shouts it loud enough so everyone can hear it. And they kind of look back. And people kind of raise drinks and stuff at it. Yeah, so I don't want to take all the credit, but thank you very much. Indeed. Oh, I take it old Ellen May sent you off this way. Is that what it is? And probably not a coincidence you all
That'd be right.
showing up here. Okay. Well, I gotta say, things are, it makes me kind of nervous, to be honest. Things are kind of going a little bit better. We're just kind of wait for that second shoe to drop. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. So that's
Always.
why we're the third shoe, right? You're waiting for that second shoe. We're the third shoe that's gonna that second shoe.
Well, I
Probably.
ain't never
maybe.
seen a fella wear 3 shoes before, but I tell you, if you're around when that second shoe drops, I think I can speak for all of us in the fist. We're going to be a hell of a lot more comfortable having you have our backs, that's for sure. Yeah.
Something I want to do. A few other towns, the town that we were in with him, there were like company guys that were pretending to be people and kind of mingling themselves in. I want to see if I can find anyone doing that.
Okay. So you want to like
Oh.
say goodbye and kind of go off and kind of look around. It's a big city, so there's a lot of tents. So if you want to greeted him, you said hi, and now you want to kind of go off and look
I
around.
want to keep an eye out for that, especially if there's not because it sounds like there's not anything super specific that he's like talking about. We're just kind of doing introductions. I want to keep my eye out while we're talking to him,
Okay.
and then kind of peel off and
You can go ahead
Start
and roll a notice
roam around
test
for that.
Yeah. And while
It's like one of those times where the teenagers just like, you guys are talking and it's boring.
Yeah,
So you just want to
pretty
start
much.
wandering So as you wander off, you can go ahead and roll it. We'll get it in a second. But he'll turn to Cletus and
I'll take
Doggett.
a boost on this.
Fortunately, there's been a few little dust ups every now and then, but nothing too bad. Ain't got no scabs around here currently. The worst thing that we got going on, and he kind of like nods his head in the direction of like where Double D and Louisa went over by that little area where people are arguing. Yeah, I'll tell you, I believe in the Lord and the good book and its teachings, and I do right by such, but I am a bit concerned that some of the religious folks here, the various sects within the Pine and Dirge Plateau, might be taking a look at what's happening here and seeing this large grouping we have here is ripe for pickings for new recruits. Got old Lester Polson's here, his brother Ollie, and one of his other wives, Ellie. She's here. They're all kind of going back and forth, and I don't know. Some folks are saying they're getting a little unsettled by it, but right now it just seems to be talk, I suppose. And that's how we want to keep it, Cletus. Let's not go riling folks up just yet.
No, man. If he was going to talk to them, Miss Louisa could do that. And
That's why we're not over there.
I'm of the mind, and I'm probably not the person to do this, none. But like, you know what I bet them big boys want? They want you and the scabs to fight so they can show up and you're already split down the middle. But now if you can make peace with them scabs, but maybe not make it obvious, they can come in expecting to split, but then have a pinch.
Well, I like the way you think, Cletus. I like the way you think. Because
I don't even know how you got there, but nice.
tomorrow
'Cause
morning.
I like to take people from behind. I'm a sneaky son bitch.
Well, that got a little weird right now, but thank you. But I like the way you think, and we were talking about just the same thing. We got a plan. Group of us tomorrow morning, gonna head on down to Middenville. We're gonna see if we can reconnoiter, get ourselves a nice conversation with one of the leaders, the bosses, whatever it might be, line workers and such. Just see if we can have a reasonable sit down and explain to these replacement workers just why what they're doing, while on the surface seems like it's a good thing, they're getting their families fed. But on the other side of that, well, there's a movement happening here, right? There's a movement, and I want them to be on our side. I don't want them working against us. So we're gonna try to sit down like civilized folk and talk.
I mean, you guys use some full-on testimonial of what'll happen if you just put your faith in these some bitches. Think about that last time, man. That was bullshit.
That's
Let's
right.
provide
That
a
is
little-
right.
Liquid to ease things a bit.
Hell, it's definitely some social lubrication. If you got some, dog, and I would be more than happy to take a little bit of that with us. Definitely could help with easing into that conversation for sure. So
Private stock.
yeah. So let's Amy, let's do yours really fast. You said you were going to do a notice test. You're looking around for anyone that looks
specifically for the people. Like, I kind of remember how the company guys were acting when they were trying to blend in.
Right.
And that's what I'm looking for.
How'd you do?
So got a 6.
Okay, so you wander around a bit, and I'll tell you that with that 6, you don't see any squirrely folk. I mean, you see some squirrely folk. You see squirrels hanging down from people's clothes and stuff here and there, but you don't actually see anybody that kind of seems all, decked out the way that company got. So either they're getting much better at hiding it, or they're relying on some of these folk to kind of give over some information, or there's no one here that you could tell, at least so far. It's a fairly big crowd. Might take more time for you to kind of suss it out, but there's no one that's like popping out like, oh man, that guy looks shady.
Okay.
All right. Let's cut over then to Double D and Louisa, who wandered over towards that soapbox. And you can see that currently standing on top of it, you can see there's a man who's probably in his 40s or so. He's got this somewhat ill-fitting suit on. Like it's not tailored. It's definitely a hand-me-down, or it's been patched, and it's definitely been kind of kept up. It's not fancy looking. It's not like the type of thing you might see one of the big boys wearing around. It's something that decent folk might be wearing to church or something.
Mm-hmm.
Got a very grim demeanor on his face, and you can see every now and then as he's talking, he doesn't really smile, doesn't laugh, but every now and then you see him kind of look over towards this other fella who's just standing maybe 10, 15 feet away. He's got this robe on. You were talking about a skirt before. He's just got this robe on. It's kind of purplish deal. He's got this little medallion hanging down from his neck, and other times he kind of looks over to the other side of the soapbox where you see this woman probably in her late 30s or so, auburn, almost reddish hair, kind of standing there. You can see she's got like feathers and leaves kind of tucked in her hair and kind of a very dirty look on her face. And the man kind of just speaks out, and he just says, now, I know y'all think you've done a good thing here, and I understand the agency that you have demonstrated here. But I don't want you listening to my brother. And he kind of points over towards like the guy in the robe. No. Lester Polson is leading you all astray. Lester Polson doesn't care about any of y'all. Lester Polson cares about himself. There's two folk you need to worship when you start following my brother. Well, it's God, but it's also Lester, and it ain't necessarily in that order. And he's going to come up here and he's going to tell you, keep going with what you're doing, rebel, resist. He's going to say those types of things, and I understand that deep in your heart, some of you might hear what he says, and some of you might like that kind of approach. But I'm here to tell you, my friends, that is not the way. That is not the way at all. Life, the life we live, the suffering that we endure at the hands of the big boys, at the hands of the environment around us, my friends, it is a test of our faith. We endure the hardships. We endure it. It builds character. It builds community, and it builds family. And if we continue with our way, if we stay focused, if we stay determined, and if we stay resolute, there is a reward waiting for us by our Heavenly Father. And that reward is an afterlife of glory and decency. And over here, I don't want you all listening to old Ellie Rude. Well, I must say my brother has done quite a number on, as he has many of his numerous wives. She's going to tell you that there is no God. I know. And you see people are like, no, there's a God. She's going to tell you there ain't no God. She's going to come on up here. And she's going to tell you all about nature and wind. And she's going to tell you about finding oneself in the earth. And she's going to tell you that the only life to live is the one here. She is dead wrong. She is. You know what they do? You heard the stories, folks. You know what they do over there in Shadrach. Yeah, you do. She might talk a wonderful game. She might be this wonderful natural woman out here in her druidic ways. But we know what they do at Shadrach every season. We know the offerings. I said it as everyone starts going crazy at the sound of offering. At the offerings that they do every season. That is not a woman to follow. And that is not a man to follow. There's only one choice then, my friends. Endure. I know you walked off. I know you're angry. But you got to return to your jobs. You got to feed your families. You got to live your lives. And you do it. The Lord's going to reward you. Amen. And everyone just starts going, amen, amen, amen. Kind of, you see like this big crowd is kind of listening to them. They're all kind of making sense. And then as he kind of steps down from the soapbox, you see one of the, you can see kind of stepping up onto it is Lester Polson, the guy in the robes, got the medallion on. The crowd is you see some people are shaking hands with the man who just kind of stepped off the box, kind of clapping on the back. Hey, it sounded like he's totally convincing. And you see kind of Lester kind of get up, kind of holds his hands up. My friends. Quiet now. My brother, well, he had a good heart. But that heart is filled with jealousy. Well, it's the way of brothers sometimes that one is successful. One is well liked. One is gifted with a significant amount of charisma. And others, well, there's a little bit like Ollie, aren't they? And you see people start laughing and his face gets all red, the guy who just got off the soapbox. And then he looks out at the crowd and he sees you, Double D. And he sees you, Louisa. And you see a pause for a second as he's kind of stumbling over his speech. And then he says, I've had a dream of a different Holler. I have seen things, my friends. And I'll tell you, what these eyes see right now, he's staring right at Double D. Staring right at Louisa. I see our salvation. Stay true to what you all are doing. Rebel. Resist. The big boys mean nothing for you. There are people coming. There are heroes. There are new riders that are coming to protect us all. But stay true. And he kind of just stares at Double D. You can just see like the eyes kind of lock for a moment. The crowd kind of goes crazy. And I think we're going to end right there on that little speech.
Oh, shit.
Luis is just like elbowing Double D, like, he needs us.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sorry. I was trying to think of what I remember. Sunday school, something about like Jesus and tax man. Like I was going to put you up there and translate for me.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So we're all done. As there is a wonderful. Well, so what we're going to do next time around, we're not going to do it now, obviously, but we're actually next time going to get to dive into the social conflict rules.
Yay!
As you guys get to hop into the debate that is happening, and we'll see how it goes.
I feel very confident in Ms. Louisa here because she's going to help me out with that. But I'd be like, you got to hear me talk. How am I going to debate a goddamn cardboard box?
But this is the perfect time though, because Double D is like in the best mood that I've seen Double D in a very long time.
Sing.
So you
like,
take this positivity.
You dicks, don't go for that guy. You fought too hard.
All right. Let's do our closing plugs. See what everyone's doing this week, and we'll get on out of here. So Chuck, what's going on with DOK, man?
Yeah. So if you swing by Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central, we got our Alien campaign, All Fear the Ishtar. Right now, we're in the late stages of our space pirate chapter. You can catch Jeff and Dan and Jeremy in that. It's a lot of fun. Every Friday night at 10 p.m. Central, we're doing Umerica. That's Dungeon Crawl Classics and Post-Apocalyptic America, where we're playing the campaign's called Mutated Teenage Monstrosities. So if you like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, if you like Cadillac and dinosaurs, this is going to be the campaign for you to watch. And then Saturday night over on Goodman Games Official, we've got our ongoing show, Danger Strangers, still waiting, Bert's got, a little unavailability coming up this week. So either we'll be back to Weird Frontiers or I will be running something stupid because that's what I'm really good at. So yeah, that's what we got.
Fair enough. Let's see. Jeremy, Patreon.
Yeah. Aaron Reese. You got comic books, maps, tokens, other fun assets. Check it out.
All right. As for us here at the Lollygaggers, tomorrow night we are back to Forbidden Lands. Our buddy Stephen will be sitting in the GM chair for that. I think we are off on Friday and Saturday this week. Saturday for sure. Friday probably, as Melissa and I have some family in town. But we'll be back next Monday with more Horror on the Orient Express as we alternate between Call of Cthulhu and Holler on Mondays. You can also check out the YouTube channel, Adventures in Lollygagging. We got all sorts of other games there. Blade Runner, One Ring. We've got old Hunter games. We got Haunted West. We got all sorts of things. And if you like Savage Worlds, we got an old Deadlands campaign that we did last year. We did some of the Blood Drive campaign. You can see a lot of the faces here in that game as well. Everyone, thank you for hanging out tonight. The players, thank you for playing. I'm going to go ahead and raid. Let's see. Let's raid our buddies over at Diesel Shot. So go ahead and click that little button when it pops up. Have a good rest of your night. And we'll see you later this week. Bye-bye.